Good morning, students. Myself, Rita Das from SSBM Dakra, Ranchi. Today, I will teach you class 10th the first poem, Dust of Snow, which is written by Robert Frost. Before teaching the poem, I will clear you about the introduction. The poem Dust of Snow is a very simple and a short poem, but it has a larger and deep meaning. And the poet also said that a small thing can just give and change anyone's attitude, anyone's life. So, it was written by the poet, always a larger significance, a little thing touches a larger thing. And the poet, we have already told that Robert Frost, who was an American poet, who was born 26 March 1874 in California, USA. He was a nature lover poet. He had written many poems. In 9th class also, we have read The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. The poet had written many poems. The poems first published in England, after that in America. And his name and was very famous in American country and also in Britain country also. He got gold medal for his poetic works. And now we come to the poem Dust of Snow. Only two passages or two stanzas are there. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. Hemlock here, the meaning of hemlock means a poisonous tree. And crow, you know about this. And shook down, shook means shake. Here, the poet just mentioned about one incident that something happened in his life and he was very much upset and so much depressed that he wanted to kill his life. So he went to the hemlock tree and sat under the hemlock tree. The hemlock tree was covered with dust of snow. A crow came from somewhere and he shook down the dust of snow from the hemlock tree. And this dust of snow fell on the body of the poet. And here the poet just wanted to tell that the crow and the hemlock tree both symbolizes the sad and sorrow meaning. The poet's mood was also sorrow, and the word crow and the hemlock tree also symbol of bad omen. So it is said that the poet's mood was very sad and he wanted to kill his life. That's why he sat under the hemlock tree. The second stanza has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Here the word rued. Rued means which regret, When the dust of snow was shook down by the crow and it fell on the body of the poet, suddenly the mood of the poet was changed. And now the poet became very regret and he wanted to live the rest of the life in a happy mood, which he thought that he wanted to kill his life before falling of the dust of snow. And here the poet gives some message through this poem. The message was that Dust of Snow is one of the greatest poems of Robert Frost. This poem gives a very positive message to all of us. The poem tells about how a little thing can change your mind or your mood. As poet was very sad and sat under the hemlock tree, and there was a crow. Both the tree and the crow shows sadness because both are symbolizing the sadness and cruelness. But when the crow shook down dust of snow from the tree on the poet's body, then his mood was changed and his remaining part of the life was saved. So the message conveyed from the poem is that a small thing has power to change your mood, whether it doesn't matter for you. I have written some value points of the poem. Dear students, it will helpful to remember the poem, and any questions come from this poem, then you can just attempt it. The value points of the poem are: the poem based on the winter's day. The second, the tree tops were covered with masses of snow. Third, the poet was walking and sat under the hemlock tree. This tree was a hemlock tree and it was associated with poisonous. A crow just sat on the hemlock tree suddenly. The sudden movement of the crow, the mass of the snowflakes started falling down the tree. Seventh, the snowflakes fell down upon the poet who was standing or sitting under the tree. The mass of snow was so light and so cold that it looked like the dust of white snow. The sudden movement and the arrival of the crow and the falling of the flakes of snow looked like an ordinary happening, but the falling of the fine dust of snow on the poet leaves a tremendous effect on him. Before this, the poet was in a gloomy and despairing mood. However, the simple, beautiful act of the nature has a very comforting effect on him. The fall of the snow over him changes his mood and the mental state. It gladdens his heart. Before this incident, that particular day was not going too well for him. He had decided in his mind that they would go west. However, the fall of snowflakes on him makes him realize that the whole day has not been wasted. At last, this part of the day, when he is enjoying the snowflakes, has been saved. At least some part of the day has been pleasant. If he had not experienced such a pleasant experience he would have regretted at the wastage of the whole day. So, the dear students, now I have to say about the summary of the poem. The summary of the poem Dust of Snow has been composed by the poet Robert Frost. In this poem, the poet has mentioned that a small and a little thing has a very great significance. A little things can change anyone's moods, anyone's life, and it has no importance also sometimes. So here once some things, some incidents happened with the poet's life, and the poet was so upset and so gloomy and so depressed that he wanted to kill his rest of the life. In sad mood, he went to the hemlock tree and sat under the hemlock tree, and he was thinking to kill his life and rest of his life. Suddenly, a crow came from somewhere and it sat under the hemlock tree. It sat on the top of the hemlock tree, and it just shook down the dust of snow on the body of the poet. When the dust of snow fell on the body of the poet, suddenly the poet's mood was changed, and he was regretting that he wanted to kill his life, and he just changed his mood, and he wanted to save the remaining part of his life in a happy mood. So we can say a little thing, a small thing has a great importance. Through this poem, we had the central idea of this poem was that a small incident or a small thing can change anyone's life. Just like the poets, in the beginning, the poet was very sad, but falling of the dust of snow just changed his mood, and his mood was changed, and he wanted to live the rest of the life in a happy mood. And I can see that after this poem, in second video, just I will upload the solutions, the questions, the examination style questions in the next video. So students, please just see the video and like my video and subscribe my video. Thank you.